Do you want to catch 20, 30 bass a day or even more, no matter how cold the winter waters are? Then you need to be throwing a tube because nobody else is. Go ahead, do a search for a winter tube right now. I'll wait. I'll be here when you come back. That's right, you found nothing. You know why? Because I've done the search too. I've been doing this for several years now, but I'm not just throwing any tube, I'm doing this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the Xzone Stealth Tube. It is 2.25 inches long. So you talk about a finesse tube that's got great action in the water as you barely move it. This is it. I do fish around a lot of smallmouth during the wintertime, and this is a killer little bait. And it really blew my mind the other night when I was doing a little bit of research for this video to see that there's just not a lot. The only fishing video talking about tubes during the wintertime that I could find, it was a pro angler, I don't remember who it was, but he was talking about how he lived up north and it ices out, and you know, he fishes like October and November a tube. And I mean, that's fall for me anyway. But when you're in January and February like we're at right now, this little sucker produces. Now, I'll show you the type of areas that I want to fish this in a whole lot. And it's a combination of mud and rock. We want those crawfish to be able to burrow up underneath things. And but right now, let me show you some of the colors that I like to use. This is one of my go-tos, especially in the clear water. I keep things pretty simple. This is, of course, part of the Stealth Finesse series by Xzone Lures. Man, they got a lot of good stuff on there. Links will be in the description. Hey, we don't do memberships or any sort of Patreon or any sort of paid content because we like to include every single one of you all. Whether you're a subscriber, whether you're 100% Watch Squad, whatever, we want to keep it free to you geeks. So, the way you can help us out is if you're going to buy baits, and if you're watching this channel, I'm guessing you are, maybe not even these, make sure you go down in the description, bookmark that Tackle Warehouse link, or scan this QR code right here and bookmark it on your phone or tablet for me. And anytime you decide to go use or buy something from Tackle Warehouse, use those links. That's the best way. Doesn't cost you an extra dime, but it helps the channel tremendously. And we appreciate all of you that's already doing it. We have noticed an uptick, and it really is helping. Now, they've got a ton of other Stealth series baits out there. And if you love finesse, you love BFS, you need to go check these out. And this little color is green pumpkin black flake. This little color is great for smallmouth. It's got a little purple in it. It's called dark melon. Another great color, green pumpkin blue flake. Now this is more of a great fall, early winter color, but this is called touchdown. Now, Xzone actually makes the tube heads for these also. I think they've got maybe a 1/0 hook in them. You can, if you're around a lot of snag, a lot of wood, you can use a EWG Ned style, and you can, but it's got to be a small one. They're hard to find. It's got to be a 1/0 hook, and it's got to be the Ned EWG Ned head. That'll work if you want to stupid tube them. We're just going to exposed hook these. They make them in a few different sizes. I don't remember what up to. We're going to use the 3/16 today. So we're going to take the head. We're going to put a little scent on it. We're going to use bait fuel. We're going to get it as far as we can. And then we're just going to get that eye out. All right, let's tie it on. So we're just going to tie a pitsine on this. It's a light bait. We're going to keep it pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We're going to pass it through the eye. We're going to take it up and double it. And then we're going to wrap it about 5 to 6 times. Then we're going to pass it through that top loop, cinch it down, pull it down, and cut the tag in. All right, so rod, reel, and line set up for this. We're going to throw it, and 90% of the time, I'm throwing it on a spinning rod. This is a TFO Professional. They've upgraded them, by the way. And this is their kind of bang for the buck series rod. So this is a 7-foot medium, fast action. And I think these rods go for like 130 bucks. So good price for these rods. They're incredible rods. I've got that coupled with a Daiwa. I think this is a Revros, I believe is what it's called. And so far I've liked this reel pretty well. I picked up a couple of these when they were on sale. They may have upgraded them too. And I've got, of course, high vis 10-pound test K9 braid. I'm telling you, best casting braid on the market. You need to go try it, especially their silk braid, their JDM silk braid. And then we've got 8, I'd go 8 to 10 pound if you're around a lot of rock, maybe move up to 12 if you're doing this. But on this one right now, we've got 8-pound test Pro 100 fluorocarbon. Remember, the Pro 100 is their 100% fluorocarbon. If you go to their website and use this 10% discount, the fluoro is actually a copolymer. Great for those horizontal moving baits and those treble hook baits. But make sure you go check them out. All right, geeks, so fishing a tube, most of you already know, probably not gonna stroke it this time of year. So we're not gonna rip it up off the bottom. It's gonna be pretty simple. First, let's talk about location. Location is going to be main lake. As long as we're talking about water temps that are 50 degree or less, we got 41 degree water temps today. So we're going to be fishing first thirds of the creeks, major creeks, which is what we're in right now. And we're going to be fishing the main lakes. We're going to fish any kind of structure out there. So any sort of humps, points, especially some points that's got a mix of rock on them. We'll talk about rock in just a second. Types of rock I like to target. You know, and a little bit of clay mud, because that's where craws like to stay. Now, for the most part, craws aren't very active below 55 degree water, but just like a bear hibernating, they will come out every once in a while just to kind of stretch their legs, see what's going on, and then they'll go back in. So that's what you're going to try and emulate. So you're not going to want to move far and you're not going to want to move fast. You're really finding some prime structure and you're tearing it apart. You're just picking it apart with this thing. So, but again, location first. Location is going to be places like this. Now we've got some good chunk rock right here, transitioning to some clay mud, a nice little point there. And it transitions 2 or 3 times across there. So you got some good fist size, you know, softball size chunk. That's going to allow those crawfish to really burrow, dig up, get down in there. Now some other places is really the clay mud to the slabs, and it's got seams in it. That sort of stuff is also what you're looking for. So you're looking for anywhere that's got a little bit of mix, anywhere where those crawfish can burrow. And, you know, crawfish are pretty tough, but they can't burrow in slab rock. So a lot of times those are the places you want to avoid, or you want to avoid the transition from slab rock to chunk rock, or slab rock to, you know, mud, that sort of stuff, because that's where they're going to be living at. And retrieves, I'll mix and match these retrieves, but generally, retrieve-wise, we're going to drag it. It's going to be that time of year where we're going to drag it. And we're only going to try and drag it 6 inches a foot tops. So it's going to be tiny movements of the rod tip. So if your rod tip is moving 6 inches, you just moved it a foot. If it's moving 3 inches, you just moved it 6 inches. Just kind of remember that ratio. It's not scientific, but rough guesstimate, right? So if you're moving 2 foot, you're moving 4 foot, right? So you're hopping it off the bottom. Now that is the next sort of part of the retrieve. I will give it hops, but when I say hops, again, I'm going to give it minuscule little hops on the bottom. In other words, I'm going to barely raise that rod tip. Remember, 6 inches is a foot. 3 inches is 6 inches. So That's what you're going to do. You're going to hop it just barely, and you're just going to bring it right back to you. Boat position is always big, and when you're trying to figure out where the bass are and how they're biting, on the humps, this time of year when the water tips are in 41, look for the steep side of those points. Look for the steep sides of those main lake humps. That's where they're going to be. It could be a long point. Find that little steep side that's got a little sharper drop off. That's where they're going to be, because moving 10 to 30 feet vertical is much easier than moving 10 to 30 feet horizontally. You're moving a lot farther to be able to get up to those feeding shallow areas. Again, hook set, I'm fishing this on a spinning rod, so hook set's going to be pretty much straight up to a 45. You're going to reel and just be careful. It's a single hook, and it's a good solid hook. Not a real finesse hook on this. So once you stick them, you pretty much got them. Use your drag as needed, or if you're like me and you're 100 years old, back reel. I don't suggest you doing that. Learn to use your drag. I'm old. Get them to the boat, you know, net or thumb. That's the way. Should be pretty safe with this as far as the net or the thumb goes. You know, it's a single hook. Don't like thumbing the treble hooks though. Now, if you're really interested in drop shots and the whole fuzzy bait, Xzone in their Stealth series has dropped what's called the GBO, and we just did a video on that. You should go check it out, because the way we rigged it is a little bit different. You can go check that out right here. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad, which just means watching every video when it comes out. That's the best way to support us. And you geeks rock.